This is all your fault, isn't it? How's it going, everyone? Nyzam45 here with some more Star Trek Online. It's December now, and if you've been playing Star Trek Online recently, you know by now the yearly winter event is once again in full swing. Q's once again created this whole event for all of his favorite mortals, which would be us, I guess. Anyway, this year things have been spiced up for change from last year's events with the introduction of a new ship, an oddly unique and fun event. Since each side event in the winter event can take quite a while to complete, we're not going to be doing a full playthrough of every single one of them, and instead just be taking a brief overview of each of them. So, as per every year, let's just jump right into it, shall we? The first event, and no doubt the one you've noticed the moment you stepped into the winter event, is the Klingon ice fishing event. This event has sadly replaced the old snowman invasion event, where we'd be overthrown by a billion snowmen and end up fighting that one big giant guy at the end. But don't worry, in my opinion, this one's even more fun than the last. So for most of us, how this side event works if you've never played it before is, quite simply put, smash your fist with brute Klingon strength into 3 feet of solid ice like Doctor Who trying to punch his way through a wall of diamond in hopes of catching candy fish. Yep, that's pretty much how the majority of this event works. Anyway, anyone who participates will need a Klingon fishing gauntlet. You can get the basic version of one of these gauntlets for free by speaking to the Klingon fishing master at the base of the new tower at the top center of the lake, or purchase a higher quality one from the event store. The higher quality a gauntlet, the more likely you'll catch bigger fish, and in turn contribute to the event in general. Most fish you catch will be about the size of a football or so. Some, however, are a little bit more feisty and will actually try to eat you whole. No, seriously, they really do that. Like, they seriously try to kill you. This candy is very dangerous. Although surprisingly, being inside the belly of a gummy fish isn't as dire as it may sound. To actually participate in this event and to catch any fish at all, you need to actually go to specified fishing spots on the lake. These are visible by lightened areas of the ice and fish visibly swimming underneath. So, how does the scoring system for rewards work in this particular event? Well, while catching fish or tossing it into the giant cesspool of the dead fish, there are chances to obtain winter items. In addition to that, they've now added another item to the winter currencies, the ornament fragments. Essentially, what these are tokens that you can exchange in groups of 5 at the event store for regular winter currency items. What the point of these was in the design process, I haven't the slightest idea, but hey, you did more free stuff, yay, I guess. Anyway, after you fill up that giant pile of dead fish to the brim, you'll summon the scariest gummy worm you'll ever see. Now seriously, this guy is freaking huge. This big guy, whose name I can't pronounce, kind of works like how the old snowman overlord used to, in the sense that he's essentially just a boss. Thing is though, he can be fought multiple times. Every time you fill up that pile of fish, he'll come around, which will then empty that bowl, in which you can then repeat the process. Ward him off, and repeat it all again. This is pretty much just like any other boss though. Shoot him until he's dead. Be sure not to get too close to him, however, because he tends to like to throw people halfway across the map. I can only assume our sole goal of this event is purely to torment innocent gummy snakes. Q certainly works in mysterious ways. Anyway, on to the next event. Next is the Cones of Conduct. This event was added last year, I believe, or was it the year before that? I don't know. Anyway, point is, fill up the Snowconians' health and stuff with dead snowmen and melted candy so they can defeat the giant snowmen. You know, saying all this out loud is actually kind of freaky. I mean, we're literally acting like deranged psychos, killing innocent snowmen and using their dead, munched up bodies to make a monster to kill their own kind. Yeah, this is a lot more freaky than I first thought it was. Anyway, it's pretty straightforward. Kill as many snowmen and help your Snowconian survive so it can defeat the local snowman overlord and save the cookie town from being frozen over. If all the town buildings are frozen, well, you lose. That's it. No redos. Wait another hour for the event to come up again. Overall, it's a pretty fun event. It takes a little while to play though, and it can actually be pretty rewarding. For the next event, we have the Tide of Ice. This one's been around for a few years now. I'm pretty sure it was added around the time Undyne Assault was added, because the same kind of crazy lane-based attack pattern design is used. Anyway, the Snowborg are attacking, and you have to tactically to flick. You have to hold them off until the snowboard queen comes up and then defeat her. There are multiple lanes these guys come down, and honestly, you're gonna feel like you're fighting off World War Z zombies with how many of these snowmen can overrun you in giant hordes in seconds if you're not careful. The whole lane idea is pretty neat, but really doesn't matter all that much. Pretty much end goal, as long as you keep them from reaching the bottom gate, then you're good. All in all, however, this is probably the most rewarding event, as I tend to get quite a few drops while playing it. I have heard, however, that many other players for this is bugged, and sometimes you won't receive any drops at all. I haven't personally experienced this, however, so I don't know. That may take your whatever on that, I guess. Still fun nonetheless, and as they said, Celsius and Fahrenheit are irrelevant. Next up is the Fast and the Furious, or something like that. It's the big race that very few people do because they don't want to talk to the Epo lady. Leave it to Q to find the most annoying sales lady in the galaxy for this event. Anyway, once the race starts, you'll have to race against the other players alongside you to the finish line. Any jumping over boundaries or exiting the course during the race will get you disqualified. Once you reach the end, don't think that you've won just because you flew under that finish sign first means that you won. You actually have to interact with the winner flag to claim your prize. Poor guy I was against beat me, but didn't know that, so I ended up coming here in first place instead, despite actually being in second. Whenever you race, you'll get a number of Epo tags as a reward, which you can then use to turn in to make Epos, which you can then poach to get marks. Kind of like the black market for exotic animals. You know, I'm noticing a trend here. Q has a very dark sense of humor the more I examine these things. And lastly, we have the Winter Invasion Q. This mission isn't really an event, per se, because it's actually queuable, like a queue. In other words, the multiplayer missions of Star Trek Online. I don't think I've ever said Q that many times in a single sentence. To break it down, the Winter Invasion is pretty much just colony invasion on ice. Defeat all the groups of snowmen that pop up constantly, save the cookie colonists and representatives, and defeat the boss group at the end. Oh, and let's not forget the adorably terrifying Yeti that is hidden away in his cave in the middle of town. Not exactly prime real estate right there. At the end of the mission, everyone will celebrate that there's now a giant snowman carcass in town square and give you a gift box for all your efforts, which will most likely contain either coal or your own personal cookie slave. You know, that covers the majority of the major events of the winter event. I think we've all gotten to see the dark side of Q more than any of us would really like to see. Anyway, the winter event has just started and will continue to be active for all players to enjoy through the 12th of January 2017. Let me know in the comments below what your side event of the winter event is your favorite. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.